Yeah, okay.
JJ.
So we start,
You know, and there's gonna be discussion conversations.
roll call, right?
So you just can't make motion. You
That-
can't take action.
That's correct, but we still run the
Yeah,
video.
still recording it, yeah, that way it's
Yes,
transparent.
we're still gonna record the meeting, or the video, and we just can't take action
Okay.
because of lack of quorum.
How many do you lack?
One more.
Well, I'm representing Jacobs.
Yeah, but it has to be sworn in, unfortunately, Mr. Mayor. They
Yeah.
gotta be sworn in, yep.
You can
So-
call the US Army, they have my. No, I understand.
Thank you, yes, sir, but thank you for, all right, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we're gonna start the meeting for today. We're gonna start the roll call. It's the Mandel Golf Course Advisory Committee meeting for today, June, no, not June.
January.
No, it's January 16, 2025.
Yep. Let's go and do our pledge of allegiance, then we'll do the roll call.
Okay.
All right? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and do the roll call. Bernal Slight. District 1 is vacant. Pedro Fabian Palomo. District 3 is vacant. Mr. Gary Jacobs. Ricardo Rodriguez. Luis Gutierrez.
Here.
Fernando Rodriguez.
Present.
Rogelio Soto.
Present.
Okay, Mr. Committee, we don't have a quorum, but we will continue with the meeting. We just need you all to look at the approval of minutes from June, and then, who's this? Oh, and, then we can, you all can make the motion, and then we'll go to continue on with the agenda. They could approve the minutes, right? They can, no, you're right, no motion, that's right. I'm sorry, thank you. Since we don't have a quorum, we cannot approve the minutes, but if you all want to finish looking at them, we will move on to the next one. All right. Anybody sign up for public comments? Hmm? Okay. All right, on to number 5, communications announcements. I'll go ahead and pass it over to True to see what any announcements coming up. You know, I know the Greens is one of the main topics. I mean, anything, what's coming up within the year 2025. I'd like to bring something up. I think Mr. Esparza here for our budget, so that we can discuss something as well. Okay, just to kind of keep you in an FYI. But I'll let Jeremiah go first.
In the book that we made with you, we've got the committee report. So we'll start off. I'm not sure if it had been tracked before, reported before, but we've started to, and we'll continue on these reports to give you the round counts for the months. The rounds for October were 1028, November 1422, and December 1218. As far as golf operations, with the addition of a starter and golf course marshal on the weekends, we've seen a significant decrease in non-paying golfers. We've made progress in changing the mindset and culture by reintroducing basic golf course etiquette to the golfing public. We redid the scorecards, and we outlined a lot of the golf course rules, or the golf course rules. So that way, when we bring a violation to a golfer's attention, it's a little difficult for them to say that they didn't know, since it's printed on the back of the scorecards. Pace of play, everything outlined. We're transitioning to online tee time bookings. To limit the amount of no-call, no-show guests, we're requiring all guests to make an online tee time. Any guest not canceling within 24 hours will be charged a $25 cancellation fee per golfer reserved. and a credit card is required for all bookings. What we have noticed is multiple, or guests will make multiple tee times to ensure that if they're late, they still have a tee time. And and their argument is, well, you're not busy. Well, no, I'm not busy because you just ate up half the tee sheet and you didn't give anybody else a chance to book a tee time. So it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be a uphill, walking up, it's gonna be an uphill battle on that deal. But believe it or not, we've gotten a little bit of pushback, but up until today, starting January 1, it's worked well. We haven't have to charge anybody yet. Again, we're gonna be a little relaxed with that. First time, we're gonna bring it to their attention. We're not just gonna start slapping people with $25 fines. As part of the community engagement and the enhancement of the golf course, we got a ping demo day scheduled for January 30th. And we'll start in the spring offering a ladies clinic at no charge. Part of the practice agreement we have with TAMU, the golf team will help participate at some level. We're gonna host 2 junior golf tournaments. We'll host the Max Junior Golf Classic and the Troon Junior Championship. Those, we've already had some verbal commitments from sponsors, so we wanna try and make those no charge to the kids. Barbecue, food, snacks, awards, the whole 9 yards. We want to make it first class for the kids and really not charge the kids to have it. I think that's going to be key. Part of I think in my opinion, part of growing the game is going to have to start at the grassroots level, and that's where you're going to start it, with the kids. Golf tournament software, we did register with Golf Genius. So we now have the capabilities of sending all the information to the golf carts just to enhance the events. When you go out there, you'll see your name on the screens. We're working with updating the access points for the internet because we need the signal for the software to update and connectivity to the carts in the cart park. That's been neglected for a while. Part of sales and marketing. We'll continue to work with Thomas Prince from Troon to enhance our website, social media. He takes care of everything. We send him a flyer for the ping fitting day, he's already got it all over social media. So, I mean, it's just blast, blast, blast. And part of the registration process, we ask people for their phone number and their website. So we've actually increased the email capture rate of the golfer by like 80%. So our organic marketing database is growing exponentially. As far as the grounds are concerned, we repaired and added flood lamps and photo cells in the parking lot. We're gonna need to replace the outdoor speaker system for events. We're not gonna, it doesn't have to be, super first class. I mean, just basic Bluetooth chained speakers to be able to say the announcements to the participants. And just something to put on the radar, need to fix the potholes on the main road and possibly start planning process on the resurfacing of the entrance road. It's starting to look a little gray and it's starting to crack, so.
That's a city road.
Well, just so we can, necessarily have a conversation about it, but it's on everybody's radar. Eventually, that road's gonna start to.
Which one's
deteriorate.
Which one?
Well, the main entrance.
The entrance road.
Yeah, it's starting to crack and, I mean, at the very least.
One car. Yes,
Yeah, one car, but that was the manhole, but, probably look at resurfacing it and, as opposed to later on having to repave it, and that's gonna cost a heck of a lot more.
Mandel donated that land to the city for the road.
Again, food and beverage, we're still working on the first floor, but eventually we'll look at the flooring, the utensils, flatware, glassware. And, eventually we're gonna need to get a commercial refrigerator for the kitchen. Clubhouse maintenance, riser room, fire sprinkler system, everything's been repaired. We just now been told by the fire department we need a Knox cap for the hose connection. I guess that's a new
A what
code.
now? A what?
So I guess it's a lock that you put on the fire hose connection for the fire system. So when the fire department goes, they can hook up to the water system with their fire hose.
Yeah.
But before it was just a cap that you would unscrew. Now they want a cap with a lock on it that only they have the key for. So that's the only thing that now we're left to fix. But everything else is up to date. Ansel fire suppression, it's been repaired. We replaced the defibrillator in the first aid kit. I don't know if we talked about that, but the defibrillator didn't even turn on. The battery was dead, so there was an accident out there and somebody needed it. Yeah, there was probably a lot of exposure there, thinking that you have it and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Before we get at that, have you repaired or made future compliances for having any problems with the air conditioning anymore? Because you had a problem with the air conditioning back in the summer,
Right.
and you have something to comply
it comes
so you
and
won't
goes,
have a
right?
problem?
So, I think we work with Rubies, and they've been pretty good at that one unit that was giving us trouble. They replaced, so we should be okay.
But if it does happen again, do you have something where you can back up into it so you won't have a problem like being out of for about 2 or 3 days without air conditioning?
Preventive maintenance.
Preventive, yeah, basically.
Well, we have them go out there with the cleaning and so on, but if it blows, I mean, it's until the parts or the new machine comes in.
If I may remind you, one of the things that we're gonna be doing, and part of the contract, is, actually, Jeremiah, I think I mentioned to you a little bit, we, as a city, with the management company, are gonna visit there, hopefully, end of this month or beginning of February, and do a walkthrough, right? In otras palabras, this air conditioning unit is already 10 years old.
Right.
It's about to give, it's gonna be gone here in the next couple of years.
Well, that's why I
right?
brought it up.
Right, thank you, sir. So we're gonna have a checklist so that we won't wait till everything goes down on us, right? And then I gotta go to budget and finance and go, hey, this is what's coming down the road so that we can budget. Is that correct, Mr. Esparza? So that we know that we can have this expense of $250,000 to repair a whole unit coming up down the road, right? So that's part of the contract, which an engineer from our department, Trun, myself, will do the walkthrough so that we can have a report, so that we know that we don't want the same thing. And it happened to us, and it's big about Unitrade, right?
Right.
We found out with Unitrade after the fact that everything happened, So the arena's going through some air conditioning issues right now. They think they're getting fixed if it's not already been fixed already. So we're trying to avoid that, right? We're trying to be ready to get to have it fixed before it gives out on it. So
Okay.
that's what we're going to be doing at end of January, early February to do that.
Good.
That walkthrough, sir, and a checklist that okay, this is what's coming up. This is what we need. More important because it's about to give out on us. So
Right.
yep.
Chair,
Go ahead.
I guess if I may add a little bit to that, as we start the budget process for the City of Laredo, we do have our CIP program that we start. That is one of the things that we're starting March, and what we do in there is we look at every potential projects that we have out there on city properties, and we include them in there. It doesn't necessarily mean it gets funded, but it's in the radar. And
Right.
when we look at bonding and we go issue bonds or find for funding, that's a time that we know, okay, we need to do this, A, B, C, and here. So it has to be part of our CIP programs.
Right. It's already put in the list, and it kind of gets bumped up in the lineup, so to say, so that we can already know that it's coming. So that's why we need to do it now, Jeremiah, in the next month or so that I can have it ready for when March comes around, so we can already put that in that list, whatever needs to get done. All right. So that's basically what. And unfortunately, there was never that communication with the previous management company and us that. Oh, something broke down, and here we go. So we know, hey, pues now we got to go to council, but nobody knew about it. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to get ahead
Yeah,
of it now,
it's a
sir.
contingency plan, that's all I'm asking.
Right.
After the presentation, we'll go in there, and part of the reason for the book is to have, some continuity. We made a 1, 3, 5, 7, and a 10-year plan for the golf course.
Right.
So there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those contingencies built in. As far as the golf course. Well, again, we just put it in, but it's not perfect. I mean, we're gonna go through it obviously briefly, but maybe there's some things on year 2 or year 3. Hey, we're gonna take this out, or this equipment. It's not kitchen. It's gonna be air conditioning, but we've already started the internal process of identifying the equipment that's going to need to be repaired / replaced.
Right.
And that way the city doesn't get caught without planning, same thing like golf carts. I mean, it's easy to buy golf carts, you forget about them, but
Yeah.
in year 4, you need to start renegotiating a contract for new golf carts. So putting all that in on the radar, same thing with the maintenance equipment, just kind of have an idea of what the operation needs to look like for the next 10 years.
He's already commented on the air conditioning. What about the rest of the items in the clubhouse?
Well, I'll jump to it, but
That I've mentioned to you when I go there every Saturday.
so if you go to the list, so year 1, obviously we had the golf carts that they had purchased, 23, 24 golf cart maintenance equipment, so on. Year 2, 24, 25, you've got the golf course maintenance equipment, the $1 million package that's already been approved.
Which I'll touch about that in just a minute.
Kitchen equipment of 50,000. Now, whether it's all used for kitchen or some of it's used for air conditioning, that's there. Range cart, ball washer that's already been purchased, banquet tables, point of sale computers, and maintenance building. So again, we can add and subtract from that list, but at least there's something there to look at, and we can think about it and have a conversation. Going back to the report, the golf course maintenance operation, we're scheduled to take delivery of a few pieces of maintenance equipment at the end of the month. John Deere is scheduling delivery of equipment as it becomes available. We hope to take delivery of the full equipment package by May. So May's worst case. At the end of the month, we're gonna get some gators and the
Grinding
and the grinding tools.
we're gonna get one gator.
And we've already told John Deere, hey, if one tractor comes, don't hold it until you've got a package big enough to deliver. You get the tractor in on Monday, I need it on Friday. I mean, that's,
The latest.
yeah.
If I can, just so, and again, I can't thank enough Mr. Esparza. I'm glad he came to call him. Mr. Esparza and Budget and Finance. We went to council and said, okay, if we're gonna turn this course around, we need to have the equipment, because everything we, as you all know, it's old equipment that we end up buying. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Merceda, how much was the amount of it? Was it 700,000?
It was, so we factored in the interest and the payment, so it ended up close to around $1 million.
Okay, so what we got into a 5-year plan, all right, a 5-year plan that we're gonna be leasing to own, leasing to own, okay? So going to council, we took the package to council. And again, this took a lot of work, and I can't thank enough our finance and budget department to helping us push this through. So they approved it, so we are going to be now leasing brand new equipment that at the end of 5 years, we become the owners of it, all right? We're not gonna get stuck with the same issue that we had previously, that was a deal that was gone wrong, right? But,
Yeah.
so now that lease, that new equipment, the rotors, the green cutters, whatever they need now, they give us what they need, so we're gonna be leasing it for 5 years to own.
Yeah, even in the back of this book, I mean, there's the proposal of those equipment. So what we did as Trune, we went out and we got our pricing, but we made certain that it was the city's contract, meaning that we didn't,
Trun got the price.
we extended the pricing. So whatever we got it for, that's what the city got it for. And we're not gonna play that, we're gonna lease it to you and we buy it, but it's yours.
And Trim gets the best pricing.
Yeah, so the pricing, actually, when we looked at it, there was a savings of about $300,000 on that equipment that the city got. And the beauty of it is, I mean, it's tractors, it's grinders, it's a whole package. At the end of the 5 years, and we can reevaluate, and you don't always necessarily need to buy a new tractor. So the next go around, it just might be fairway units or greens mowers. So that number will decrease. The irrigation system was cutting off due to high pressure in the system due to a faulty pump. We had to repair the blown motor, and the second pump will also need to be repaired or replaced very soon. We scheduled a visit with Rick Martinez from PMTS to evaluate the pump house and perform some basic routine maintenance. Bad news is the pump station is obsolete and they don't make parts for that computer anymore. We asked Rick to send us a proposal on a new pump station. Again, we need to start the conversation on that new pump station. If it goes out, it's not like we can get one tomorrow. I mean, those things take about 8 months to build. So, and they're about 150 grand. But you would get something that's industry stable and it'd be able to be serviced. But again, we'll just start looking at that. Once we get the proposal, we can talk about that. New greens are looking healthier every day. Dennis Strickland, the Troon Director of Agronomy, has outlined a 90-day chemical plan. He does this every 90 days. He'll be here next Friday, and he evaluates, and if need be, reformulate to optimize green health and growth. Technology, we replaced the point-to-point antennas in the firewall for wireless internet at the clubhouse. We're evaluating the ballroom and connectivity and updating access points and adding a drop screen for events. The new technology has helped all areas. Unfortunately, a lot of that POS equipment is outdated and has connectivity issues. We're evaluating all the point of sales equipment, trying to keep what we can, identifying what systems in place function and what needs to be replaced. Currently, there's no connectivity in the kitchen, meaning that when you place an order, that ticket usually gets fired in the kitchen. Right now, the guys have to walk it back to the kitchen because the systems don't communicate. We've replaced the printer. We're not gonna call it the Band-Aids, but it's a series of elimination, right? Okay, the least expensive fix would be, okay, let's replace the printer, let's replace the switch, and eventually we'll get it identified, but that's what we're trying to do.
Jeremiah, on the process of getting tea times, they have to be all by phone.
So,
Is there an app to where they can do it on their own cell phone?
we're looking at that.
Okay.
I can't give you a timeline on that, but I'm pretty confident that, so Cronus Golf is part of the system, or the web-based system. We'll finish tweaking that, and hopefully you'll be able to download an app and you'll be able to do it on your phone.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're not gonna get it done tomorrow, but
No,
that's.
but it's in the future.
Yeah, but it is planned, yes.
Cool.
And then again, the 10-year plan, again, it was just something that we saw later on. I guess once we do that evaluation, we can kind of
Keep it.
add and take. But any questions, we'll try and answer them best we can.
The greens, but they're looking good, so.
Yeah, we were, so what we tried to do before, I guess there was never really any farm that you could harvest grass from. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we built a small putting green behind the pro shop. And then there's one by John's office, and hopefully in the spring, we wanna make the one by the putting green, or by the driving range, I'm sorry. We wanna make that a little bigger, just because that gives you the opportunity to pull. It's tough to get grass, freight kills you. But if anything, when we harvested and we transplanted some grass on, say, we use 13, right? Because I think for me, that's the eyesore. But we did it to where we kind of left the far right side of the green. We're gonna try and grow that back in, but that still left you 3/4 of the green playable. So, not that it's in play, but eventually, once we get that grown in, hopefully by March, then you'll be able to utilize that.
Well, I mentioned that to you. I played the Oaks at TPC, San Antonio, latter part of the summer. And they're getting ready for the Valero tournament. And the greens there are comparable to your greens, other than those spots, barriers that are still growing there. I mean, your greens, the Max's greens, look at just as good as the TPC's. Notwithstanding the areas that are still growing.
Once we get 18, you can use 18 as a good example. I think a lot of those areas that had issues have grown in very well. 9's looking a lot better, 8's looking better. Once we get the greens, once they hit, we're gonna call it a year, but 8-10 months, we'll start to be able to take down the heights a little bit And when those greens are 100% ready to go, that's gonna be one tough golf course. I mean, those greens are gonna be,
Get them slick.
Yeah.
they're gonna be running 9.5, 10 every day, which is about this tabletop.
Speaking of, I guess, what's the, if you want to kind of get the timeline of what's going on for the next 6 months or so, Jim, on the greens, what's, I know you put, they're going to do some chemicals.
Yeah,
And
so-
what else, what's the other, any,
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to promote root growth, and that was really the concentration going into the cold season. You know, thank God, it looks like our winter's gonna be short, but we're still gonna get some cold weather. But once we get that root to get down far enough, we've been taking water and soil samples throughout the growing period, and nothing out of the ordinary has come up. So we know that the turf, everything's healthy. It just, when somebody asks, you know, we all want it to look perfect, but I think we need to put it in perspective. If, you know, we'll say January. If we planted those at the end of July, August, and it takes 90 to 120 days to grow it in, I mean, those greens are only 6 months old. I mean, it usually takes about a year before you can get a good root system in there, right? But I think that's, again, and it's not an excuse, it's not anything other than an observation. It's just, you know, if 2-3 years down the line, if they look like this, then there's a problem. But I think we just need to keep in consideration that they're 6 months old.
Given what is forecasted for next week, the temperatures, you're not gonna have a recurrence of what happened to David Smith about a year or so ago.
I don't know what happened to David.
Well, the greens froze.
So you'll, you know, that's one of those things where, depending on how long you have frost and how many consecutive days you're gonna have the frost.
Well, it killed the roots.
Yeah, I made a call today to Dustin. Just tell him the forecast, tell him where we're at. And, you know, the forecast is Tuesday, we're gonna get 30 chance of flurries or whatever.
Right.
Wednesday, it's 28. And I said, you know, in my thinking, we don't have anything to worry about.
Okay.
And he agreed.
So,
He says, as long as it's
Well,
28.
we had,
yeah.
that time, we had about 26, 22
And it was
degrees
2 or 3 days.
for continued.
right, so there's two things, so, and I, you know, I'm still, I mean, I'm not an agronomist by, you know, by any means, but I do know that the one thing that is extremely important as far as roots concerned is ground temperature.
Right.
So even if your ambient temperature is 30, it's gotta stay 30 for a
Yeah.
really long time before the dirt gets to 30.
Can you talk to my wife about that?
Now, when it happens for a week, then yes.
Yeah, right.
And then the worst thing you can do is when it freezes, is actually try and do something to the green, like walk on it or put a piece of machine on it, because all you're doing is you're breaking,
Yeah, the
you're
root.
damaging the.
so, John, with that being said, would the greens not be cut to prevent,
Yeah, those.
to make it keep the blades longer to prevent
Yeah,
it?
and that's why we kind of raised the height come winter time, because you want to kind of,
To blanket the.
yeah.
If you notice, the greens are, those of you that have been out, they're slow, right? They're slow. They're probably about what they were when we had overseeded them last year, about the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, they're about the same.
But that blade length is healthy.
It's kind of like insulation.
It leaves insulation, and then we actually top dress, so we put sand on there. So, and in the event that there's a freeze, from what I've been told, one of the best things you can do is actually water.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, because it gets.
You build
to
a layer
and
of
it
ice.
doesn't go below that.
Yeah.
Para que se quede el hielo arriba.
Yeah, but the way you protect the greens, you know, one of the good things about being an Aggie is I got a lot of Aggie buddies that are agronomists. And you throw sand when you're gonna have sustained freezes, straw, or you throw water in and build a base of ice to protect it?
Up north, they use what they call, it's a blanket system, but those are,
the greens.
yeah, those things are obviously, they're tailor-made to your green, and they're not cheap. And to be rolling them out for a week,
If you play early enough, if it's 28 degrees in Laredo, it's 22, 20 at the max.
I believe it. I listened to my son one time, some years back, and went out when it was 20-something degrees.
Yeah.
I didn't make it fast for hole number one. I ain't gonna do this, man. It's freezing. We left the house, it wasn't cold, but when you get over there, it was
Yeah,
10
right.
degrees
Yeah,
cold.
right.
yeah, you're close to the river, so you're humidity's up. And there's another thing, I mean, the humidity
Yeah,
levels
exactly.
are different. So,
Yeah, from what I'm told, it's 2 or 3 degrees colder at the max.
And
than it is
at what
here today.
at what temperature do you close the shut down? Hey, we're not gonna get anybody on because you said they might damage the greens, right? If they get
So-
on.
Well, if there's frost on the ground,
not until it melts by itself.
Right.
yeah.
So it's at 8, we're gonna open at 10, and if there's still frost, then we push it
You
back
wait.
another hour or two, and
Because you can get frost at 35 degrees, because, so we can't, if you run over the grass when there's frost on it, you'll see black tracks wherever.
Right.
yeah. So we just, you wanna treat for fungus, for algae, because then that frost is gonna, you're gonna have an excess amount of moisture.
How about my buddies, the feral hogs? Have you seen any?
Well, if we're on the record for PETA there, so, we're gonna say no. We haven't seen any.
Oh, that's right, we're on.
Yeah, you can see where they've been, they, like 16 teeth, they hang out there.
That's one of the things that, that's
We really
as a
only had-
taxpayer, coach,
Yes, sir.
you got, that hog fence has to be maintained.
And okay.
Porque if not, those
Yeah.
things.
No,
come
no,
in,
no. I agree.
they're gonna-
What about my house? They're tearing up yards like left and right. So-
those greens will go to hell, and you and I better go to
Yeah.
sign up to relocate to Russia.
No, we just need to identify
You
that.
have the trap set up for the hogs?
We'll put them out sometimes.
Yeah, we have the
Yeah,
traps.
because in
But-
La Bota, we set them up, and we already got about 14 or 16 of them, but there's a bunch, I mean, about 40 roaming everywhere.
We set up the traps, and it's a catch and relocate.
Yeah.
It's a catch, relocate, release program.
Yeah.
Well, the
You take it, you
the
take it
nuns,
to the
the
grill.
nuns at the orphanage
That's-
love.
That's a place they call.
You relocate them to the tamales?
Yeah.
Qué bárbaro.
But really, it's 13, or no, I'm sorry, it's 14.
14,
14 T-box,
Yeah.
16 T-box,
16 T-box, and 9.
and we'll get them over on 4.
And we put the traps out, we set them out on that low level in front of the green on 13.
Right.
And when we do see that, you say they tear up the fringe right in front of 14, we set there's a trap behind that green. But it hasn't been, now when we were sprigging, I mean, their ears were up.
Yeah,
man. I
we're
mean,
active,
they
yeah,
were
sure.
out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we that's when we caught quite a few. I mean, it's all root. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
grass. I mean, those things, they were out there, and it was,
Yeah, they like the gallina ciega.
That's
Yeah.
like Golden
Yeah.
Corral buffet.
Yeah, that's their delicatessen for them.
hey, no.
Moving on, let's say March comes around, what will be, that you identify some areas that still need some work, let's say, right? We still gotta identify, is that around right, by March or April, that you'll probably identify that we need to get some,
In the March,
end of March? And then what will be the plan if some areas that need identified that need to get work?
At the very worst case, because I mean, we made the call. We harvested the putting green to be able to transplant some grass around the golf course, just because we didn't know we were gonna get how easy it was gonna be to get grass because it was so late in the season, and B, we wanted to put it in the ground so that way we could make sure that it would actually take, which it did. And I'm saying this, I'll say it conservatively, but if anything, you're gonna need maybe 3-4 pallets of grass, tops. The right side of 13, which not really the right side, it's maybe like the right quarter of the green. We'll do some of the same practices that we did on 2, like the front of 12. We'll take up the fringe. We'll make the green shorter, if you would, and we'll let that grass grow. And then once it comes in, then we'll take it back,
Like what you did in 2.
like we did in 2.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think we got the greens to where they'll come in and you'll have good surfaces on all the holes. Like I said, I think the only ones that I saw we drove around yesterday, in my
Number
opinion.
8, it came back.
Yes, number 8,
You replanted it.
Mhm. Yeah, it
that was
all,
there.
yeah, there, what we're gonna do over the, so to answer your question, over the next 3 to 4 months, it's roll, sand, cut, roll, sand, cut, roll, sand, cut, so where when we get to March and April, you have smooth putting surfaces.
I mean,
Wanna
and-
see that roll, biller roll, the billar.
Mhm. No, we do too. I mean, and again, nobody's fault, right? We're dealing with some of the dated machines, and it was difficult to get the roller out there because we had to put a lot of money into it, and it worked, and then it didn't work for a week and a half, and then it would work, and it wouldn't. And nobody's fault. It just, I mean, it's an older piece of machinery. So.
Okay.
You're still way ahead of the curve in terms of the greens as they were previously under the other guys. I mean, they're not here, so we got to talk bad about it.
Well, I mean, we've looked at, I think we've looked at the areas of improvement and actually, I guess if you want to call it, the significant areas that we can grow into, and one, it's difficult. I mean, I know that, Coach got in a call or two. The mindset and the culture, because there was a lack of play out there, people thought that there was no rules. And on various occasions, you'll go out to, when we first took over, I mean, you go out and you tell the group to say, hey guys, you need to break up. And he goes, well, why can't we play 8? So you can't play 8. There's not a golf course in the world that lets you play 8. You guys are 2 foursomes. But we have 2 tee times.
Yeah, but you cannot be all together.
I said that's great. That's why, you need to play in front of them. Okay, well, we're gonna let them through, and then the next hole they're gonna let us through, and I was like,
Yeah, I got clipped on that one.
Remember? And so unfortunately, the internet, or that's what with the internet was so important, the connectivity from the internet, because you all have an unbelievable GPS system on those golf carts. I mean, those golf carts, we've got them set up to where at night at a certain hour, they all lock. So if somebody broke into the cart barn and they had keys and they got on the golf carts, they won't move. They won't move, and they won't unlock until a certain hour, and when we stage them, we can lock them, and we can unlock them as people take them. But in that case, hey, can you please break up? No. Eric, can you lock carts 14 and 27? And you lock the carts, and they don't move, and they're like, well, once they get to the next hole, I'll unlock your cart. And it's no, in the service industry, you don't never want to have to take that measure, but again, we go back to, and the culture and the mindset. Again, we can all remember when we go out there and there was a lot of trash. And we could all say it was because there wasn't enough trash cans, or it wasn't because of this. But little by little, as people saw the golf course improving, how much litter do you actually see on the golf course now? And people are starting to take pride in their golf course. And at the end of the day, it's their golf course. We're just helping you recognize the rules and asking you to follow them.
And I've gotten calls, hey, we're out there, and I was there too. I mean, parecía WBCA train, I thought there was a parade in hole number 1. It was like about a 16-some. And so that's when I got a call, because it's because I don't care who you know. I told Jeremiah, I'm going to back you up all the time. I'd rather get the call that they kicked us out because we had a parade on there than letting people on that are playing, look like a WBCA parade. So Anytime. So you're not, on our end, on the city, you enforce the rules. I don't care, get me out, you know, that's the rules. Those are the rules that we have to go out and follow, you know, so.
Yeah, so part of what we did is a rider's a rider, a spot's a spot. If two people are playing golf and, you know, they bring their significant others to ride with them, they get charged car fees and you're a foursome. Well, they're not playing, you're still a foursome, because the perception of, you see 4 golf carts, you see 8 people, but only 4 people are playing. Well, you don't know that when you see them from 2 holes
Yeah,
away.
and everybody's gonna start golfing.
And so it's just easier, like, hey, look, you all are 4, go have fun, enjoy the day, it's beautiful out here, and just break up, you know, meet in the clubhouse for a drink afterwards. And that's kind of the way we've approached it. I mean, we get a little pushback, but it's gotten significantly better.
Good. Anything, before I go on, I'm introduce Chris Calderon and Silvia Lara. We are transitioning, Gloria will be retiring this year.
Okay.
What did she say? She's
I thought April, but then she said August.
somewhere in, somewhere in the near future, so.
Yesterday, right?
So, she, Gloria has done a great job. It's always, they give them a call and
Oh,
she's on me. She'll track me down even if I'm on vacation. Coach, I need you to approve something for the Max. And all right, that's good. So she's doing a good job. So we're transitioning. Sylvia and Chris will be as she moves on another chapter of her life.
I'll wear you out.
Yeah, so they're gonna be your contacts. So they're Chris and Sylvia, great office workers for us. They work there to help us with everything. So they're gonna be our liaison from here moving forward. So if you have any questions or concerns, committee members, or we're gonna send you an email to. These are gonna be your contact persons to which will be Sylvia and Chris. Okay. With that being said, any items that we would like to discuss for next meeting? Hopefully schedule. Let's now keep it monthly. Now that we think we got some vacant position, but I know we're gonna 2 people are just coming on board. They just got notified. I mean, they just got assigned in December. Sworn in.
Two
Yes.
board members?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just got. I think they already got sworn in. So, or they couldn't make it today, but I think they're about to get sworn in. So, we can already start having some make sure we get quorum. Okay. Any items for discussion that you all like to talk about?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Sure.
As a disinterest, as a outside party.
Sure.
So you cannot move on anything in the golf course if you don't have quorums in the golf committee? In terms of actions or monies that need to be spent, if you don't have a quorum and you don't get the approval of the golf committee, you can't go forward to council?
I can, but it helps, it carries more weight. It carries more weight if I.
I think that's a critical consideration, Jesus.
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. It just carries, it gives me a little bit more more teeth.
No,
¿verdad?
the only reason I tell you that because I spent about 5-6 years in that.
Yeah, I know. So no, but being that it's now that I have the committee, I can get up there and
No,
say,
no,
you know,
that's right. The committee's got to serve their purpose.
Yep, and have and I got some backing that hey, this is not just me. That I saw something on Sunday or morning. You know, this is coming from
Well,
the
that's,
committee members.
you
So
know, good.
yeah, but it does. And for you all to talk to your city council members and tell them, hey,
Because
this
it's
is
not
this
fair
is
to
what's
you.
coming.
And
No,
you're-
yeah, appreciate that, sir. Yeah. So, but you know, we're moving in the right direction, and as you all know, Councilman Rick Gonzalez Garza is now a councilman. He was originally the one that started this committee. Just an FYI, he got together with Mr. Jacobs and hey, we need to start a committee. The Max needs to have his committee. This is 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And
Oh,
that he
he
started.
started 5 years ago?
Well, he started this committee. He pushed it through at the time the city manager,
Okay.
and this committee was formed. And now he's a council member, so that helps us well, right? So now he's a council member now for District 4. So now that's going to be a good advocate for the course as well. So he wanted to come and now he told him, okay, welcome to the real world now, man. You're going to get phone calls everywhere. So he said he was going to make it, but so yeah. Well, now we have him as well on board. So now he's now a committee member. So anything that we would like to add, that we would like to meet. Well, let's pick a date. When is it feasible so that we can?
Thursdays are good.
Thursdays. We normally meet the third Thursday.
Third Thursday.
The third Thursday. What day would that be
When is
next
it
month?
gonna be? What day?
20th.
The third is.
That's in the middle of WBCA week.
That's right.
So you got the 13th
20th?
and the 27th.
How about the following Thursday, the 27th?
On February?
February.
It's the 20th, no?
Yes, but they're saying it's
The
WCA.
WBCA week is all that week, going into the
Okay.
big parade and all that.
And we have Water Olympics as well.
Okay, the 27th?
Can we do 27th
That's fine.
at 12?
The same place here?
Yes, sir. Eventually, once we get to Aprilish, I want to meet over there so that we can look
Where?
at the course.
Excellent idea.
Yep,
Coach.
yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Troon will accommodate the golfers.
Of course they will. So if we, it would be.
Right, Jeremiah?
Sir, yes, sir.
We'll probably do April's meeting over there. That way it gives a little time for the greens to kick in and all that, just so we can
Yeah,
take a
we
look
can
at it.
go
Weekend rates on that, or
See the green.
on that Thursday.
And bring your clubs, right? So let's do February 27th,
Coach.
Yeah.
27th at noon?
At noon.
Okay, we will reach out to you all to see the place and location. We'll probably do it here again on the 27th. If you all, city council, committee members, if you all have any items that you think of, that you see out there, or feel free to call the girls so that we can put it, and post it.
How do you call them?
We're gonna email them you. We're gonna email you all the contact, Sylvia's and Chris's. Little by little, I'm gonna start pulling Gloria out because they're gonna be more familiar with what's going on. So if you see anything out there or somebody reaches out to you about a concern, of course, talk to Jeremiah about that, but if something that has to do on the city inside, send us contact, you send them, and you'll be getting an email in the next 24 to 48 hours from them. From us.
Okay.
Okay? All right, you wanna close the meeting, Mr. Rodriguez?
Well, it's 1:05 PM, January 15, 2025. We adjourn this meeting.
You had a motion to close the meeting. Motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second. Just close.
Oh, there's no, that's right, just close, you're right.